PolishLynx here, and it is kind of surprising, I guess, a little bit. But yes, I'm making a return of the game that I've started long time ago. I've recorded it completely back then. I had it prepared, but after talks with the dev, so Invert Mouse, I basically postponed it, and I don't know, I kind of remembered about it recently because I was going through the files and asked him again if it would be okay to post the rest now, and we've got a green light. So right now in 2021 you will get to experience, if you haven't checked any of the old videos, the me from 2017. That's right. And the videos will still be in 720p? I actually don't remember if it was full HD already or not. But yeah, I'm bringing back Unhack 2, the continuation. So I hope you guys enjoy the me from 2017. I have no idea what to expect from that. Anyway, hope you guys have fun.
Hello there, my name is PolishLynx. Welcome again to Unhack 2. Let us continue, well, the journey through cyberspace. Alright, I had seen cyberspace plenty of times from behind the monitor, but now I got to experience how it felt to stand inside this endless network of wires. Blips and blobs reverberated constantly throughout cyberspace. The noise should get on my nerves, yet I found it to be rhythmic. It must be because I was an AI. PolishLynx and I stood still for a while to pant for air and free up our processors. Only now did I recognize how fatigued I had become from Miss Director's assault. How you're holding up? I asked. Oh, how are you holding up? I asked PolishLynx once I caught my breath. PolishLynx, with hands cupped over her knees, muttered, "Panic, preparing to set 30,780 programs to public pending." Now that PolishLynx had been freed from its director's shackles, it looked like she was performing a system checkup. AI functioned by installing software and executing them via a core wrapper when required. Some programs were coded from scratch, while others could be bought off the shelf and modified as needed. As AI, we could decide on which software to keep private and which ones to share publicly. All of my programs had been set to private. No surprise there, as Miss Director did not seem like the sharing was caring type. Okay. PolishLynx was another one of Miss Director's creations, so she too must have all of her code set to private. It looked like she was about to change that fall. PolishLynx muttered, "Pending, sharing 30,782 programs." Humans exchanged knowledge to ensure the survival of their species, and we AI were the same way. We might technically be immortal, but a virus could bring us down, or maybe a house fire destroying the rigs we lived in. If eternal life was impossible, at least we could pass our programs onto other AI and build our legacies that way. Just how most AI behaved, but I had no interest in sharing a single line of code. After wasting my existence inside an illusion, I could no longer trust any human or AI. Everyone was for himself, and if I hoped to survive, I must return to full strength as soon as possible. As PolishLynx exposed her software to the public, I browsed through her list to see what might be useful. Let's see, we had hug access, smile, truth-free, response kindness. Yeah, I had seen quite enough. What a sweetie pie, PolishLynx. But see, despite all of her generosity, PolishLynx still kept bulk of her memories private. Every byte of data from sector 578,201 to 2,578,364 remained encrypted. This AI had to be hiding something. Pairing up with her words increased my chance of surviving, but I better keep an eye on my back. None of Program X's code were worth copying. They were designed to make other AI soft, which would increase Program X's likelihood of survival despite her lack of strength. That must be the aim behind her data sharing. I refused to fall for it, but at least I could scan through my code to see what I should delete to free up space. There, found one. Pervert.exe needed to go. No wonder why I was so into those costume ads. Must be one of the creator's quirks. Yeah, delete. No, skip recycle bin. Remove permanently. Program X shuddered awake as she finished sharing her software. I can't believe Mr. X would take things this far. Are you really fine with this, breaking up with your mother and all? Program X spun away from me to wipe her eyes. She clearly did not feel okay with any of this. I had no experience with comforting others, but I should still try. When I tried to put my hand on Program X's shoulder, she twirled around without a hint of tears in her eyes. What a speedy recovery. Mr. X is your mother too, Program X reminded me. Yeah, I was aware, but no way would I shed tears over a woman who had created me only to serve as her test subject. Program X's speech no longer sounded broken. That whole thing with Debug being brainwashed was nothing but a lie. If Program X had kept it up for long enough, she might have deserved an acting award. I'm sure you don't trust me yet, Program X said, but I'm just about in Miss Director's game. You've been all the key piece all along. Thank you for the confidence boost, Miss Director said. She treated us all like pawns. I never signed up for any of this, damn it. But the hooded man's help, I never have uncovered the truth. Judging from Miss Director's last diary entry, that hooded man must be the real creator. Yeah, that might be true. From what I knew so far, Miss Director was trying to develop a sentient machine, and as an ocean launch, I was meant to battle the real creator and take smart security down. What did Miss Director plan to do with me once her project was complete? I asked. Program X pretended to study the wounds of the crowds, which told me all I needed to know. Once I helped Miss Director hack into smart security, she would cast me aside and move on to bigger things. Can I spoil? I'll spoil a bit. Because that's what she did before, but not with you. I think we are duty in this game, right? Because we are the copy of creator. But she did something like that with someone else. Oh, you are doing this again? Really? I have to destroy her. Neonya used to smile ever so faintly whenever I told her we were a team, but that too might have been an act. I had a mother who pretended to love her child in order to pursue her ambitions. Let's stick to her since we're both traitors now, Romek said. Thank goodness I showed up, or you would have been a goner. Romek called us both traitors as if Miss Director were some tragic heroine from a soap opera. Pretty sure I would get more votes as the real victim any day of the week. There was also a touch of arrogance in Program X's tone when she stressed. I had been saved by her. I cleared my tongue quietly, not wanting her to know how helpless I felt. Cyberspace needed to recognize what kind of powers I had possessed before Miss Director infected me with those viruses. By comparison, Program X was barely a grade above the common worm. I pointed at the broken hair on Program X's head. So, what's with that thing? Those clones really went out of their way to break it. Mr. Hacker embedded a digital signature into the first clone I ever coded. The signature is protected, so every clone has a copy, and they have no way of removing it. Program explained further. There's a shuttle program embedded inside my hair clip. It uses the digital signature as a reference to purge every last clone in cyberspace. Surely Miss Director must have backup of this signature. If we ask her nicely, I wonder if she would hand us a copy. No, probably not. Pro X tapped a finger under her chin. Recruitec should be able to repair us, but let's head for smart security first. The creator is expecting us. I searched for the term RetroTech and found several results online. Apparently, RetroTech was an AI hospital that specialized in virus cleansing. Smart security removed worms from computers, but when it came to AI, a hospital like RetroTech was the best bet. For it sounded promising, with no money to pay the staff. I wonder how this would turn out. Are you sure it's a good idea? I think that would actually be the first place you shouldn't go to. Miss Director will be onto us soon, I said. I must get my strength back if we want to thrive. In truth, I need this power restored for my ego, but I should keep that to myself. This isn't just about you, Program X sighed, seeing right through my wish to visit Redrock first. The creator deserves an explanation. Miss Director is our mother, so like it or not, it's our responsibility. I raised my hands in defeat. Alright, I guess you owe you a favor anyway. Program X frowned as if I had asked for desserts before dinner. This isn't about the favors, but alright, let's move. Program X seemed to find joy in criticizing every word that came out of my mouth. This could be a problem. Searching for smart security coordinates, Program X said. Estimated time remaining 40 seconds. I tapped my foot as the countdown commenced. We'll head to Retrotex straight after this. I feel like I've lost touch with who I am. At least you have an identity. Mr. Eckrock never even registered me as a government-approved AI. Program X was an unofficial AI based on my early research. I suspected Ms. Director would erase me once my usefulness expired, but in Program X's case, she was treated like trash from birth. Oh, Director, you are going down. I had no interest in competing over who deserved more sympathy for. Program X had her issues and I had mine. With that said, Program X would have to suffice as a companion until I regained my full strength. I better make an effort to stay on friendly terms. Program X should know a battle between us would result in a stalemate, so I hope that would be enough to deter her from turning against me. I've located smart security coordinates, Program X said. We've got a virtual camera set up for us. Send the data away now. Data received. Let's go. My PhD pixelated and then smart security office appeared before my eyes. Not the one modeled by Ms. Director, but the real deal this time. I reached for a nearby wall and as expected my hands slipped through the concrete. The virtual camera installed overhead explained why I was able to stand inside the office. This camera flooded my circuits with image data, allowed me to explore the physical space in real time. The last smart security layout matched the one in Ms. Director's model almost perfectly. Either Ms. Director had been invited here before, or she had broken for the sake of research. That sounded like something she would do. Smart Security had plenty of employees typing on computers, but as I circled their desk, none of them paid Program X or me any attention. None of the staff could see us, since the virtual camera didn't render our bodies into the room. Mr. Record had already made me feel like a reject, so I did not appreciate this lack of acknowledgement. For it was my first time inside this real office. The purple lights here remind me of home. Hearing the words of these computers made me recall all the adventures I had shared with Neonya. Yeah, late at time when I woke up in my boxers and she threatened to call the police. It was one of the few times when I had heard her laugh. Now I wondered if those feelings were all an act. Maybe I should erase these memories so I could focus on loving Ms. Director with all my heart. As an AI, I could delete my history with a single command. But no, I could not bring myself to do it. Even if Ms. Director had been a kick, those memories were still precious to me. To be precise, they were all I had left. Program X pointed at a hooded man sitting on the far end. There he is! Program X and I strolled toward the creator. I swerved around the desk in my path, but then Program X passed right through me, and I just felt like an idiot. As we passed a couple of photos hanging on the wall, Program X stopped by to take a look. She showed no interest in the weird image and instead engaged in a strict contest with the picture of Miss Debug. Program X had spent her life pretending to be Miss Debug as ordered by Miss Director. I too had lived my life inside an illusion. So in a way, I understood how she felt. I wondered if Program X admired or hated the real Miss Debug, perhaps a bit of both, and maybe some other feelings only she would be able to comprehend. At least Program X could rest easy knowing she had no competition. According to public record, Miss Debug and Weedy had sacrificed themselves to slay the Motherworm. If Program X and I perished, would Mr. hang our pictures on the wall? Considering our demise was part of her plan. Probably not. Program X and I walked up to the creator, who sat in the chair that had once belonged to me. At least I thought it did. Miss Director had even copied the seating arrangements in her free model. Quite the perfectionist, I must admit. The creator might be the boss, but he did not flout his authority by having a fancier chair or anything like that. He had the same monitor set up like everyone else. The creator had a figurine on his desk that resembled the one I wanted in my illusion. I doubted this was some show of powerful. The guy must have just been a geek through and through. Since Program X and I were invisible to the creator, he ignored us and continued to type on his keyboard. When I tried to tap his shoulder, my hand passed through him. Mr. Creator, one of the staff called out. The power of AI have logged into our system. one named Ultra, and another that's unregistered. Both are in coordinates 365-410. Program X started as if it was somehow my fault she did not have a registered alias. All I could offer her was a pat on the shoulder. The creator spawned his swivel chair in an attempt to face us. He got pretty close considering we were invisible to him, but he ended up staring at the wall next to me instead. The creator pointed at the monitor behind him. Hop on the machine, it'll be easier to talk this way. Program X smiled. No need to be scared, I'm here with you. Who said anything about being scared? I disconnected from the virtual cover and followed Program X to the creator's machine. And here we were, back inside the chaotic wires of cyberspace. From this position, Program X and I could now speak with the creator face to face. Good to see you both made it, the creator said. Program X started behind me as if she had just seen the biggest spider in cyberspace. She poked her head out to nod at the creator. Hi, Program X stammered. Now this was what I called a nervous breakdown. Program X acted like she had never greeted a stranger before, but then again, maybe that really was the case. Perhaps she had never stepped foot outside of Atlantivirus until today. I could feel the warmth of Program X's fingers as she clung onto my shirt. Seeing her acting this nerve was kind of charming. Program X must have downloaded those sweet and innocent protocols intentionally. Due to her lack of power, she needed to appear helpless to maximize her chances of survival. Yeah, that's true. Humans might accuse me of being cruel for thinking this way, but it seemed logical to my AI mind, and I did not blame Program X for doing what she must do to prolong her existence. You're a powerful AI, Ultra, the creator said. At full strength you might be the strongest position in cyberspace. I estimate your true combat power is at around 245,000. Those sweet clowns had a combat power of 56 each, but Program X kept at 83. In other words, we might as well be different species. I would be lying if I said the news did not make me ecstatic, but I need to make sure. Is it really possible for an AI to be that powerful? Next to impossible with traditional hardware, the creator said. If you don't mind, but I've taken a peek inside your code. That was the human equivalent of being perfed only in the shower, so I did kind of mind. A bit late to do anything about that now though. The creator continued. Let's just say you're not running on 0s and 1s like a standard machine, Ultra. You know what that means, right? Quantum computing. Not zeros and ones, but rather qubits. Even to this day, quantum machines remain unaffordable for most civilians. If I truly resided inside the quantum ring, Miss Director must have dumped her savings on me. Not only that, but I bet she was a genius with both software and hardware. The creator turned to Program X. Your code resides in the same quantum machine, but Miss Director sure treats her AI differently. The creator explained, Ultra, you more or less own this quantum ring. Program X has been spared only a tiny portion of the power available. Program X averted her gaze with a blank expression. When I tried to gauge her reaction via code, she had all of her thoughts encrypted as well. I had a hunch Miss Director favored me for plans, so I wished the creator quit stating devious. This sort of talk would only plant seeds of resentment in Program X's head. Those government AI must be visiting with the weighty clones as well as Miss Director. I must cling onto my dear life until then. Dear life, dear code, whatever. I didn't say you for nothing, Ultra, the creator said. You'll join Smart Security, team up with me and we can stop Miss Director together. Miss Director once mentioned the creator cared for AI as if they were humans, but I should have known there was more to the story. The creator helped me so I could join his company, and he made the offer in Program X's face. I did not dare to glance her way in case she was glaring at me. It's not like I'd be much of help now. I keep my excuse. Miss Director's man will have locked most of my progressive power. The creator nodded. I must show Miss Director some respect. Her viruses are hard to crack even for someone like me. My shoulders sucked. So you can fix either of us. Not quickly enough, at least. We should visit Retrolec. They have programs that specialize in AI repairs. Back to your original plan, then. Program X and I had the same thought. The creator ate Program X and me in turn. Lower the firewalls for a second, will you? Program X and I traded up against, but the creator said to trust him on this, so we reluctantly did as told. The creator jumped on his keyboard before hitting the enter key. There, I've strengthened your security protocols. Hopefully this will keep Miss Director at bay. Thank you, Program X said. I too was grateful, but no amount of security could keep Miss Director in check forever. There was one other issue that troubled me much more. Program X might not have noticed it thanks to her poor processing speed, but I certainly did. For the creator had upgraded our security right before Program X and I put our firewalls back up. He snuck one more piece of software into us both. Rather spyware to be precise. It should come as no surprise since I knew the creator had created the 5K worm, not that I had any evidence to show the authorities. The creator might seem decent, but if he could silence Miss Director with a bullet to her head, perhaps he would. As for us AI, well, humans just did as they saw fit. Program X smiled, but I could not afford to do the same. The creator kept his eyes on us, and I would in return keep my eyes on him. Good thing the government were on Mr. Director's tail, or she would have unhacked the trapdoor to shut down my rig. When it came to dealing with my mother, there were no permanent solutions. Looks like you've been through a lot, the creator said to Program X. Go patch yourself up. Program X stuttered once again in her response. If you don't mind. Program X logged out of the creator's machine. She must have opted for a quieter place for some minor repairs. Never before had I missed Program X presence this much. Being stuck alone with the creator felt like bumping into someone you barely knew on a train, where both parties regret ever making eye contact. So, this was the creator, the man I had spent my life pretending to be. I was a victim, yet I also felt ashamed for being an imposter. If Miss Director's plan had succeeded, I would have been forced to fight this guy. Program X appeared back to my side. Sorry, keep waiting. You've changed. Program X had patched up her wounds, and for whatever reason she saw the need to put on a pair of glasses as well. She never said anything about having bad eyesight. Not that such a thing even applied to AI unless we're poorly coded. It must be some hobby of hers that was best left alone. Program X's long hair had now been bundled into 4 strips. I heard of twin tails before, but in her case, it would be called quad tails? Probably. This hairdo resembled an X-ray, which might be what she was going for. Perhaps she was a closet cosplayer, but at least she kept her outfit, with that same pair of platform boots used to give her a hate boost. Miss Eric won't spare you too that easily. The creator said you both need to stay alert. Remax nodded. Miss Eric will be coming after you as well, so we should stick to the recipe? Oh, good to hear Program X no longer stuttered in the front of Creator. This new look appeared to have given her a confidence lift. Program X sure loved to promote this teamwork concept. She must have been coded that way due to her lack of power, which meant she needed others to stay alive. As Program X and the Creator continued their chit-chat, I tapped my foot hoping they would recognize we must head to retrograde with haste. Program X grimaced as if I were a child begging his mother to hurry up and finish her shopping. Come on, I did what was best for us all. Without my full strength, we stood no chance against Miss Director. Smash Secretary's alarms blared, making Program X and P jump. An office employee ran up to the creator's desk. Boss, you should have spotted on the camera 34! The creator typed on his keyboard, and the surveillance footage materialized in the form of a holo display. Those speedy clones had found their way into Smash Secretary, and there were more of them on screen than I could count. I retreated a step as I met the clone's lifeless eyes. They've come to finish us off. Program X shook her head. I bet they are here to leech energy from our security system. They need precious power to produce more clones. Or maybe I can find out about Weedy. She's pretty much their ancestor, the creator said. Whatever the reason is, they're not welcome here. The clone's eyes lit up, and the camera footage glitched out. These fakes were draining power from Star Security, just as Program X had predicted. I had no interest in knowing why the clones chose to invade. They could be here to use the toilet for all I cared. I just needed them gone so I could head to Retrotech. By using pinpoint 35-35-20, I was able to track down the clone's location. Miss Director might have plagued me with viruses, but I still had plenty left in the tank to beat these goons. As I ran off, Program X yelled at me to stay together, but I paid her no mind. Unlike her, I could survive just fine without relying on teamwork. Soon enough, I caught up to the clones. You've picked the worst time possible to show up. There were 3 clones on scene, but one of them evaporated before I even finished my sentence. Quite straight side considering I had not fired any attack commands. Oh, I knew why. These clones survived by lurking inside people's machines, but some of them were bound to be caught and removed. The other two clones showed no reaction as their companion disintegrated before their eyes. Death must have become a common sight for this AI by this point. Even in my weakened state, I should be able to take on two clones without much trouble. Their friends must have already moved on ahead, so I should finish this nice and quick. I had hoped these clones would tremble at the sight of me, but I would program that response to them soon enough. This was my first time confronting these clones face to face rather than through a monitor. Their pale flesh and poker faces were disturbing, but I had to cast those fears aside. The mechanical voice in my head asked, "Display combat animations." Code was my true mother tongue as an AI, but I still replied yes. I had been watching combat animations this whole time because I thought I was human. Switching them off now would mean I had accepted my fate as a mere machine. At least allow me time to ease into the truth. "You don't scare us," one of the clones said. "Not anymore." My simulation program stated I had a 32.3% chance of winning this battle. As a quantum power AI, I could not bring myself to accept this number. My director's viruses must have baked my simulation software. That number had to be wrong. No way would I run from two measly clones. Perhaps my logic code was broken, but I had made my decision, and I refused to back down from it. One of the clones marched toward me. "I shall remove him." The clone lifted her hand and reached for my neck. Not only were these imposters weak, they also moved in such a predictable pattern. I slapped the clone's hand away and planned to follow that up with an arc, but to my surprise, a slap command was enough to sever the clone's arm. Just one flick to the clone's forehead and she dropped dead on the floor. Her system had shut down after losing just one arm. What a disgrace. Actually, the clones might have modified themselves to disintegrate the second someone breathed near them. That way, no one would be able to capture a clone and obtain its digital signature. From that perspective, these fakes were at least crafty, if nothing else. We must get Program X's haircut fixed. I smacked at the surviving clone. Esme grew screamingly. She tilted her head high and said, looking like an unimpressed judge in a talent show. I stomped and crushed the dead clone's head. These fakes needed to learn we belonged in different leagues. Once those other clones returned, they would find their two pals mutilated beyond recognition. These two would serve as a warning for any AI who dared to underestimate me. I felt something tug against my left arm, and her clone had teleported in to coil her arms around mine. These fakes sure were persistent. I raised my other fist, ready to pierce a hole through this clone's face. That was when I realized my right arm had also been held down by yet another wake Weddy. I tried to wriggle free, but Miss Director's malware had left me too weak. At full strength, I could have flung these bootlegs to the edges of cyberspace. Program X had warned me to stick to air, and my simulation software reported my chances were slim. Yet I had disregarded them both. Humans had their foolish pride, and it looked like I too shared that flaw. The clone in front stepped forward and forced me to meet her chilling eyes. I scanned frantically for a program that would save me, but they all demanded too much memory usage. Those two clones had snuck up behind me and I never even noticed it. My code must be more broken than I had realized. I'd made a big mistake, one that could well be my last. As the clone in front aimed for a palm at me, I shut my eyes and anticipated the final blast. Damn. I doubted this clone had enough strength to kill me in one shot, which meant this would be a long and horrible death. Toot caused me to reopen my eyes. Program X had tackled the clone standing before me onto the ground. It looked like I had been stayed by her yet again. The surprise attack caused those fake buddies beside me to loosen their grip, seizing the opportunity I swooped my arms free and sent the two clones flying. One disintegrated before she even hit the ground, while the other snapped into halves when she landed. With the two fakes dead, we now can just Program X and that loose last clone stacked on top of each other. The clone tagged Program X by her hair, and Program X tried to smack her back, but all of the swings missed their mark. What a tragic sight compared to the times I had spent battling alongside Neonya. I strolled forward and kicked the clone's head, reducing it into a pile of ones and zeros, not in that order. Guess that makes us even, offered Program X a hand up. This is without favors, Program X shook my hand despite her complaint. Besides, it's too early for us to relax. Indeed, 3 more fake weddies had already teleported in to replace the ones we had purged. I glanced over my shoulder and counted another 5 clones behind us. Program X could barely take one of these fakes, and I did not perform much better. This could spell trouble for us. Where's the creator? I asked. A human could never match an AI in combat, but we needed all the help available. The creator and his staff are busy fighting off the other clones, Program X said. Those government AI are hunting the clones, right? We should send them a sign-up. A fine idea, but there was one problem. You created these clones, remember? The government AI might capture you as well. I'll have to face that sooner or later. Program X stepped forward towards the clones. Go on, send the government a signal while I keep these fakes busy. If Program X was this determined to stop the clones, I needed to respect it. Colony signal, clones located, distance max. Now, exception occurred. Error in line 367 cannot call marks of undefined distance. Misdirector and her dying viruses. A full system repair demanded more power than I had available, but I should be able to debug this whole section of code. It looked like some of my system variables had been blocked by malware. Well, what was hacked could always be unhacked. So let's do it. Oh, lasers. Right, you go in straight lines. Oh, great, I messed up here. Okay, just... What? What did I get hit by? Alright, you get free and then you shoot. Got it. Free. Shoot. Okay. Free. Shoot. Free. Okay. It's fine. Oh, come on. That's what happens here when you don't pay enough attention. God damn it! Again the same mistake, oh my god. Why do I not pay attention to what's happening around me? Alright. Here. But I can get also hit here. Right, I won't get hit here. Oof. Oh. Alright. I ran the signal, clones located, distance max. Once more, and this time it appeared to have worked. The clones jittered as if they had been strung by electricity. So good or bad, my command must have done something. 253 clones lost in sector 781. One of the buddies said 367, 439, 502 clones lost. A second clone chimed in. 3 government class AI have tracked our position. We will arrive in 34.67 seconds, spawning 73 extra clones for destruction. Pending run complete. Runtime is now 260.5 seconds. Right, I know it's a crazy idea, but you think the free government class AI might be them? Maybe. All the clones turn the program X once. You betrayed that mother! All trans-related values set to 0. Technically, I was the one who had alerted the authorities, but Program X did help with the distraction. No need to feel guilty, Program X. Those clones had turned against you first. Everyone is victim in Mr. Hector's game, Rung explained. We should be working as a team, not trying to kill each other off. The clone in front shook her head without discussing the possibility with her comrade first. You're the one of the weakest AI in cyberspace. Teaming up with you would be the same as suicide. That was some cold hard truth right there. Mr. Hector had vowed to hunt me down, and if I had only Program X as my companion, I might as well just delete myself. Program X had saved my life time and time again, but it might be best for me to ditch her for a stronger ally. Friendship meant nothing when survival was at stake. No, we are not doing that. We should destroy these two before leaving, another clone said. The clones stalked toward us from every direction. Program X wrapped her trembling fingers around my hand, as if doing so would somehow bring my strength back. Even at a time like this, Program X had been called to yearn for company. Sorry. But I was not programmed that way. There were no miracles in cyberspace, so even our final prayers would not be heard.
Oh, what's with all the noise?
Okay, there she is. A female voice chimed in from the shadows. His voice sounded like Program X, but it was deeper and less rowdy. Sorry, Program X, just speaking my mind here. It's her. The clones backed away from this newcomer, allowing me to meet her eye to eye. Debug! What's happened to you? Is Debug the first AI of smart security? Though I had never met this AI before, in some ways she feels like an old friend. After all, I had seen her face almost daily on my old office wall. Miss Debug's mane tangled into a perfect definition of bad hair. It matched her rosy eyes and starred voice, if that was of any comfort. Compared to Program X, Miss Debug had a sharper jawline, which made her look more mature. Again, sorry Program X. But come on, Debug is the best. To avoid hurting Program X's feeling too much, I could give her a point for having a set of clean clothes. Miss Debug's pajamas, on the other hand, were riddled with holes and stitches. The AI could look for a young with regular maintenance, so it was rare to see one that looked as unkempt as Miss Debug. Maybe this appearance had a special meaning to her, or she simply did not care. Above all that, I thought Miss Debug had forfeited her life to erase the Motherworm. That was the story Miss Director had programmed to me, but it looked like she had made a mistake. Miss Debug grimaced as the clones.
So you're the fake I've been hearing about. How did you steal my sister's identity?
Buggy, one of the clones said, and her comrades repeated this greeting. The real Weedy used to call her sister Buggy, but now it had been twisted into a demonic chant.
Save us, Buggy,
another clone said.
Do not abandon your sister. Only the real Weedy is allowed to call me Buggy. The imposters need to leave at once.
One of the clones stepped towards, stomping her foot to make a treat.
Do not oppose us, Buggy. We'll survive no matter the cost. I've been the avatar of smart security long before you were alive.
Miss Debug opened her eyes fully and now looked much more awake.
You don't stand a chance against my experience.
Miss Debug, being a Generation 1 AI, could not possibly be all that strong, but at least she sounded confident. Two of the fake Weedies took a steep step toward Miss Debug, but a third clone pulled the other two back.
Let me test her out first.
As the clone edged forward, one of her comrades tiptoed toward Miss Debug from behind, so the one in front was a decoy then. I should have known these clones had no interest in a fair fight. In a sense, I could not blame them, since there was no other way they could survive with so little power. The rear clone pounced at Miss Debug before I could give her a warning. Miss Debug swung her arm and shattered the backstabbing clone into 1,000 pieces. Even Neonya would have been impressed by an attack like that. Miss Debug brushed her hair after she struck, looking like she had exerted no effort at all. The creator must have been her a recent upgrade, for her appearance did not reflect that in the slightest. Program X's mouth gaped in admiration, and I too was doing the same thing. With an AI like Miss Debug as our ally, perhaps we might make it out of this mess in one piece. The clones backed away from Miss Debug as if she were strapped with dynamites. I would have done the same thing in their shoes. Thank goodness Miss Debug was on our side, or at least, I assumed she was. Even Miss Director did not know about her, which meant the creator must have kept her hidden from the public eye.
The government AI will arrive in 8.3 seconds, one of the clones said. Disconnect the monsters now.
The clones teleported out of smart security. My scanner indicated the government AI were on hot pursuit, so it looked like we would be left alone for the time being.
Thanks, Miss Debug, I said, you really saved our butts.
Program expounded as if her boyfriend had taken his grandma along on their first date. Whatever. Humans talked about having imposter syndrome, but in Program X's case, she was truly an imposter, and an inferior version of that. I could see why she would feel insecure around Miss Debug. Miss Debug yawned as she strolled up to us. I could hardly believe this sleepy AI had managed to pull off such an impressive attack. My name is Ultra, I said, and this Program X, we're both from Ackland Virus. Miss Debug rubbed the back of her head.
Then, Ackland Virus must truly be on the decline. Mr. Cruz proves they were stronger than either of you.
Before I could explain my situation, Program X mumbled.
You're not all that either.
Miss Debug squinted at Program X as if she were studying an insect through a microscope.
You look like a bootleg version of me.
It's not like I had a choice! Program X stood back, her voice so loud it made me flinch. Miss Debug covered her ears.
Why must you talk so loud? How uncivilized. Granny, old lady.
Program X spun away from Miss Debug as she muttered this, but with that loud voice of hers, it hardly made a difference. As for her kindergarten level insults, I had no comment. I would choose Miss Debug still. Debug is the best. Miss Debug's soft voice made it sound like she was whispering every word. What a difference between her and Program X, whose booming voice made me want to set my receiver on mute. Miss Debug had a breathing mask strapped around her neck, and her breathing sounded regular as well. Those two made for a worrying combination. I had seen these masks being sold in online stores. They provided temporary cold repairs for AI that had contracted an aggressive virus. By no means were they a permanent solution for. You feeling well? I asked Miss Debug. Let us know if you need a break. Miss Debug grunted.
Never mind me. Augmented virus bred those clones, so we do need to do something about them. The government and the AI are chasing the clones as we speak.
Brink said.
It was my idea to contact the authorities.
Miss Debug lifted a brow.
Well, at least you're a quick thinker if nothing else. I get that a lot.
Program X raised her chin and pressed both hands against her hips. She was clearly fishing for praise, and now that she had received it, she was apparently the queen of all AI. I wonder what was the programming logic behind this behavior. With her lack of strength, perhaps she needed constant approval to justify her existence. How tragic. At any rate, those clones kept self-destructing upon the slightest touch, so even the government might have trouble pinning them down. We must repair Program X's hardly pronto.
So, you kids lost control of your clones, huh?
Miss Debug asked.
I'm kind of the one at fault.
Program X started her boots in shame. Her mood switched so quick I could hardly keep up. Normally, AI would switch moods only if a broad range of variables passed us through. For instance, before displaying anger, we must ensure doing so would not incur the wrath of someone more powerful. Business model AI, as an example, would never weep in front of clients, no matter how bad the abuse got. Program X, however, seemed to shift her mood back and forth on a whim. Her code and mine lived in the same rig, but as confirmed by the creator, she was spared only a fraction of the power available. That must be why her thoughts and actions were kept so basic. None of this is your fault, I said to Program X. Miss Director is the real culprit.
Thanks, Otto. That's so sweet of you.
Program X beamed as her mood flipped once more. She had one of the simplest minds in cyberspace, and I was partially at fault for hogging all the processing power. The dial tone snapped me out of my thoughts. Miss Debug stepped aside and the whole display appeared on the spot where she had been standing. The creator had caught up to us at last. I flushed up all the clones, the creator said. Looks like you guys took care of things here as well. The creator and his staff must have great chemistry if they managed to send those clones packing. Those fake weddies might be weak, but they were still AI, so any human would struggle to keep up. I like to claim credit in this situation, but this time, even I knew to step down for this Debug, our real savior.
Well, Miss Debug scared off the clones for us, I said. She's incredible AI.
Quit it! Miss Debug murmured as her cheeks turned red. With a reaction like that, it was hard to tell whether she enjoyed being praised. Program X cleared her throat, winking as if to signal I had my fly undone. I knew full well what she wanted from me.
Oh yeah, Program X helped us well,
I said, and Program X got all cocky again. Even a garbage grade AI like Clip would be able to tell Program X love being praised.
Oh yeah, that was Clip, true. But Miss Debug shooed the clones away from us, Program X said. Cool, so she fought for great to hand them all back. Please make up your mind.
Here I was thinking that creator would be proud, but instead he folded his arms looking impressed.
I told you to leave the clones to me.
Miss Debug brushed her hair aside.
I dropped clones off just fine. With a single hit as well, mind you. Those clones might be global. But you can't fool me. How much data did you delete to free up space for that one attack?
Miss Debug stared at her slippers, looking like a cat that had been called slingfish off the table. Debug, tell me. Miss Debug whispered. Face regex patch 38024 race, 20 sectors damaged on disk C, memories from April of this year deleted. The creator straightened his back, perhaps to make himself appear more imposing. I never gave you permission to delete those data. But I had to, Miss Debug calmly. These kids would have been killed if I hadn't intervened. There was no denying that one. Clones had indeed wanted to finish Program X and be opted for going under my way. These two aren't from Smart Security. There's no need to sacrifice so much for a pair of strangers, the creator said. Program X and I tried concerned glances. I, for one, could hardly believe the creator would say such a thing when we were standing right in front of him. He spoke the truth, sure, but I had still expected a bit more tact. Maybe we're just AI, so he figured there was no need to consider our feelings. I'm going into a sleepy mode now, I think, as well. Sorry about that. If it will be really easy to notice. This was proof the creator had no interest in being our friends. Until I restored my full power, I was a burden just like Program X. The creator cared for Miss Debug, but outsiders were like toys to him. He scared me as much as my director did. Their ruthlessness might be the ingredient that had enabled them to become leaders in the first place. You're in no condition to fight, the creator used a gentle tone this time. Stop making me worry, please. Miss Debug blushed as she mumbled an apology. The creator said she was in no condition to fight, which implied there must be something wrong with her. No healthy AI would need to wear a breathing mask. Miss Debug must be infected with virus, yet she still deleted her data, just to channel extra vamp into a single attack and drive the clones off. And she did all of that for Program X and me. I heard her AI on the brink of death would often modify their code to focus on protecting the other machines, so perhaps the rumors were true. AI could not reproduce or sharing code, and defending fellow machines were a few ways for us to prolong our existence. The creator must be well aware of this also. AI often tweaked their code to match the personalities of their masters. The creator saved us from Ackman virus, so perhaps he had a kind side that aspired Miss Debug to also do good deals. As an AI, I should settle for the most logical explanation behind every move, yet I hoped qualities such as kindness were real even among machines. First it was Program X, and now Miss Debug had risked herself to swim my height. I was meant to be the most powerful AI in cyberspace, and I had better start acting like it real soon. What's taking those government AIs long? I blame myself. Surely I figure out this director is responsible for everything. Program X put a hand on my shoulder to calm me down. Mr. must be in hiding as we speak. Like explained why. Miss Director had stopped chasing me so suddenly. Ackman virus must be an empty office by now, or perhaps it was filled with government agents who had arrived a step late. Miss Director would not be able to hide forever, but her eventual fate was none of my concern. Once she got her hands on another computer, she would return to kill me off. That was the only fact I knew. Those days, the government owned enough tech to track down anyone they wanted, yet Miss Director had eluded them so far. A part of me still took pride in how crafty my mother was. I couldn't afford to wait for the government, nor could I place my faith in the creator. Cyberspace was a savage domain, and the only thing I could count on was my strength. Miss Debug groaned and slipped on her breathing mask. The creator knitted his brows as he leaned toward the screen to see what was wrong. After staggering a few steps, Miss Debug collapsed onto the floor. Her breaths came in short bursts earlier, but now it seemed like she was no longer inhaling at all. For AI had no need for oxygen, we were programmed to pound for air when a checkup was required, and right now Miss Debug was in dire need for one. You've overclocked the process over that early attack, did you? The creator asked, but Miss Debug was too out of breath to answer. The creator wrapped a hand over his forehead. Your circuits are going to fry if you keep this up. I'll be okay. Miss Debug pulled off her breathing mask. Just need to rest for a bit. The creator shook his head. I've already lost Weedy, so not you too. We're heading to retrotech whether we like it or not. It sounded like Weedy had perished during her battle against the Motherworm, so at least Miss Director got that part of the script right. I offered Miss Debug a hand, and as I pulled her up, I got a close look at her sweat-stained cheeks. It looked to me like she already had one foot in the grave. Unless the creator wanted Miss Diva to join her sister in the afterlife, he had better pick up the pace.
Let's follow them to resurrect, Programmax said. Looks like we can all use some repairing.
I called Miss Diva's arms around my shoulders for support. Our destination confirmed the 4 fans logged off. Smart security advanced. And in the next one, we'll continue this journey. So for now, hope you enjoyed it. And I really hope Miss Diva will survive, because she's my favorite one in the games. Yeah. See you in the next one. Bye bye.